Former New Jersey Superior Court judge and host of the Judging Freedom podcast, Judge Andrew Napolitano. So, Judge, as we are just seeing, Donald Trump posting on Truth Social this morning saying he has the money.
Well, if he has the money, he can deposit it in the court's bank account, and then all the efforts to execute on his properties stop. Remember, he doesn't have to post the bond or deposit the money in order to file the appeal. He has an absolute right of appeal. He has to post the bond or deposit that money in order to stop the execution. So Attorney General James's salivating over 40 Wall Street will stop for 3 or 4 years. That's how long it will take for the appeal to be addressed, because they address these appeals in the order in which they were filed, and there are years' worth of appeals ahead of his.
I want to read again this Trump putting this on Truth Social just about an hour ago. Through hard work, talent, and luck, I currently have almost $500 million in cash, a substantial amount of which I intend to use in my campaign for president. That's changed. I did nothing wrong except win election in 2016 that I wasn't expected to win. I did even better in 2020, and he goes on from there. But basically, the former president, presumptive nominee for the Republican Party right now, indicating that he's got $500 million bucks.
I don't know. Is he going to use the $500 million to stop the execution, or is he going to use
he
it
doesn't
for his
clear
campaign?
Up. Was that election? Yeah, was it campaign money?
Right.
He says he has the money, and I guess that would pacify.
Here's why I think the state is playing hardball to its own disadvantage. It's a very costly process for the state to be costly and slow for the state to be levying on these assets. If they agreed to a reduction in the amount of the bond, it's easier, cheaper, cleaner, and faster for the state if he posts a bond than if they have to start seizing assets. Why? Because he doesn't own anything in his own name. He has thousands of LLCs, small corporations that own, one owns this and one owns that, and this one is the parent of that, and this one is the sub of that. It's going to take the state a long time to navigate who owns what and how they can seize what. It will be a lot easier for the state if they said to the judge, okay, the judgment is $450 million. He's got half of that. Reduce the bond amount to half of that. Let him get the bond, and we'll just wait for the appeal to be filed. That's not what they want. They want to make his life miserable, so they're not going to do it. But they're making his life miserable at the expense of the taxpayers of the state of New York.
Can we just talk about, so everyone says this is going to end up at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court takes less than 1% of cases each year, so who knows if they would even take up this case. But on appeal, even in dark blue New York, doesn't it seem like just based on Eighth Amendment grounds, and the fact that we've never seen a judgment like this in New York in 250 years, that based on the Eighth Amendment,
so the Eighth Amendment, quite appropriate that you erase that, Rob. The Eighth Amendment prohibits unusual punishments and fines.
Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment.
Correct. Okay, so cruel and unusual punishment refers to criminal. Excessive fines refers to civil. So here we have a case. No crime. This is the case against Trump. No crime, no victim, no harm. And you still have a $500 million judgment. That's enough to get the Supreme Court's interest, I would think. But it'll be a long time before it gets there. He must exhaust his state remedies first. He has to appeal it to the appellate division. If he's not unsatisfied with what they do, he has to appeal it to the Court of Appeals of the state of New York, which is the highest court in the state. If he's not satisfied with what that court does, he gets to appeal it to the Supreme Court. By the time it gets to the Supreme Court, in my opinion, he will have served his next 4 years in the White House and be retired in Mar-a-Lago.
Yes.
I mean, you mentioned it, a victimless crime. We've been saying that time and time again. So much crime in New York. We got Letitia James is spending time on this. The banks that loaned him the money saying they'd be happy to do business with him again because they were paid back with interest.
Correct. Letitia James ran for office promising to get Trump. It's reprehensible that that's what our system has become. Part of it is a defect in the system. Law enforcement and judges should not be running for office making political promises, but in New York they do.
Judge Andrew Napolitano joining us this morning. We had to scramble a little bit because Trump says he's got the money.
Well, we're happy to scramble.
Yes, absolutely. But it's great having you in studio.
What is he going to do with that money?
It's
we'll find out before Monday.